Marvel Ultimate Alliance really brings the Marvel Universe to the gamer. I mean, we've got over 140 different characters to play with, or to actually experience. You've got 20 playable characters plus additional unlockables, and it's all the famous guys you come to expect. I mean, you got Thor, Wolverine, Spider-Man, all these huge names in the game for the first time ever. Partway through the game, you unlock this ability to create your own team. And the idea behind that is you're forging this team, and you're making it like your own thing. We want to make sure that the player gains reputation as they go throughout the game. So the way it works is, you go ahead and you get your name, you pick your logo, you pick your initial roster, and you actually will open up roster slots as you continue throughout the game. So if you have somebody on your team that you really want and you try to swap them in, if you don't have any additional roster spots, you're actually going to lose reputation, because again, it's the team. You've built these guys up. If you've got Thor and Wolverine and Captain America and Iceman all on the same team, that's who everyone recognizes. That's who the public knows as this, the new Bob's Defenders or whatever you're going to call it. So now if you suddenly make a switch to that team, you actually lose some of the reputation you had previously gained. However, if your roster spots are available and you just sub in somebody, from the, so you still have the 4 characters in there, you actually will not lose the reputation. The multiplayer aspect of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, easily my favorite part of the game. I mean, it's like that's what you get. You got 3 other buddies sitting there playing the game. And what's awesome about it is you really get to use those characters. Like if I'm Spider-Man, and so I just throw them up into the air and I can actually web sling them to the ceiling. You can have Thor come over and smash him with his hammer, or Thing can come over and actually start pounding them. And then eventually those guys, you get bonus experience for actually using those guys together in different ways. Another sneaky tactic I tend to use is we've got an arcade mode in the game. And how that works, you actually gain points, and it's like y'all are working together, so there's not friendly fire, but you actually gain experience for whoever made the kills, whoever did the damage. So a sneaky tactic is like I'll sit with Spider-Man and wait in the back till someone's almost dead, and then use his web bullets from far, and you can hit like 2 or 3 guys at once that everyone else has been working on, and you actually get the points for the kills. So arcade mode really brings out, it's like certain powers really can be used to your advantage in arcade mode to gain some more points. So we really want to make sure we brought up the co-op and really that experience in Marvel Ultimate Alliance is obviously the bread and butter of the game. It's like what people really enjoy is all that experience going back and forth with their buddies. So arcade mode is a natural fit. And so the way arcade mode works is you can play the whole game start to finish. You don't have to beat levels previously. I mean, it's like full on, you get to play the entire game through in arcade mode, and the way that works is after every level, every character gets a certain amount of points, and it's points based on how many kills did you make, how much damage was done, and then there's even additional rewards, so like if you destroy the most objects, you get the additional destruction award. If you killed the most guys, you get different awards for that, and it's a blast, because it doesn't matter if you played through the levels before, you've played through the mission before, it's like always fun trying to be the guy to beat the, win the zone, basically. One of the focuses of the game, we want to make sure like the player's always experiencing something new, so it's, you just don't want the game to be, get to be repetitive. We always want to make sure like you can handle the enemies differently, and one of the ways we did that, of course, is the enemies have weapons you can take away from them. And pretty much every single enemy in the game that has a weapon you can grab away from them. So whether it's a sword, you can rip it out of something like they've got little fire demons down there in Mephisto's lair, and you can actually rip stuff out of their hands. There's frost giants in the Niflheim lair levels. And what's great about the different challenges is sometimes it's simple as tapping a button rapidly, or on the PS3 you have to shake the controller. Other times it's actually a sequence of buttons you have to hit, or a series of gestures you have to make with the PS3 controller in order to get those weapons away. And it's another fun way of making the game different. And those weapons are always super powerful when you get them, but they don't always last long. We kind of have like a certain amount of damage. So if you get a frost giant's massive hammer, you can have Thor, or you can have Iron Man sitting there with his massive hammer, and it will inflict some serious amounts of damage, but it's only for a limited time. The Wii controller was a difficult thing to decide at first because it was so wide open. I mean, it's like we've never seen anything like that before, but Nintendo did an awesome job actually breaking it up into the 2 different controllers, because what you find is there's just so much more freedom when you've got those 2 different hands. One you can stay still and be really accurate with. Vicarious Visions, really, they came up with an awesome scheme for the Wii controller, and they just kept testing it over and over. And of course you can there's the grab and throws where you grab a guy and throw him. What's best about it is the instant, the finishing moves for the fighting, the fact that you can flick up and you can do a pop-up. You can smash down, you can do this stun move. I mean, it's like right there at your command, you've got all these different moves available right away. Even the powers, you can hold that power button and flick your wrists in different ways, and you've got all these powers available to you right away. So that control, it's awesome. And even the camera itself, that's a work of genius by those guys. It's like how you tilt how you rotate your one hand actually rotates the camera, and it's really intuitive, and I'm sure it's going to actually be copied by a lot of games in the future. Obviously the PS3 and the Wii versions are different in the graphical sense. There's no doubt about it, they've got all the special fancy shaders and all the different shadowing and lighting techniques in the PS3. They can even run on actually the 1080, but what the Wii has going for it, of course, is just that freedom of movement with the controller. Again, it's like, since it's broken up into 2 different controllers, you can do a lot more gestures than you can with the PS3 Tilt controller. But the PS3 Tilt controller, I mean, it's really easy. It's like a really natural motion to be flicking that left and right and up and down. So the Wii has more gestures to it, more elaborate gestures, like you can spin it, kind of spin it around, or just make stuff that really is just more elaborate than you got with the PS3. With the PS3, of course, the graphical improvements are amazing when you look at that. So the way the Tilt controller works for the PS3 is obviously you can grab guys there and throw them all around with the Tilt controller. We've even actually added extra damage to every single one of the powers, and really it's a time-based thing. So the way that works is like for melee attacks, let's say you've got Thor's hammer and he flies up in the air and also he's going to come down to the ground. Just before he hits, you got to shake that controller and really kind of do it a downward jerk. We just didn't want to make it a tilt. We really wanted to get the player into it, and you'll do extra damage that way. Then there's a bunch of boss sequences using the Tilt controller. Let's say you're facing Galactus and he grabs you in order to get out of his grip. You can shake it up and down. But later on, Silver Surfer actually comes in and will help you out against Galactus. And as Silver Surfer's flying around Galactus, you'll make different motions, whatever the motion is told on screen, like rolling it left, rolling it right, pulling it back, and then that allows Silver Surfer to get through the battle with Galactus. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, to me, it's like, well, what's so great about it is that we brought the entire Marvel Universe to the fans. It's like over 140 of those characters we mentioned, all the playable heroes. It's just the first time you get to play all these guys at once, and it's awesome when you got 3 other buddies sitting there playing. I love arcade mode. It just totally rocks being able to get the high score for a level and get additional bonuses. So really that's what made the game special for me.